Is it just me, or are the horrors way better when they are realistic? This horror thriller movie that we are talking about is called Perfect Blue. And of course, I assume that you watched the movie, so I will explain it what happened, analyze it, and set the tier of some arguments at the end. So if you only want to know who won at the end, skip to this part. Now let's begin with the video. The first half of the movie is quite straightforward, and actually not hard to follow along, but is also cooking and foreshadowing future events. Set our mind up to be aware of color red and beware of the intense music. It's also showing us on how well movie work at the beginning at making audience asking what is real and real context behind the scenes, just like the very first scene of watching some superhero show, only to be revealed to be a side entertainment for background characters. And that scene where we see Mima going home and getting into her apartment, only to see that is a surprise celebration by her colleagues, which we figure out that it happened before Mima was going home. With that two examples, movie showed us that it will show us false as reality, and that sometimes what go with the timeline of the show. Of course, there were multiple examples in the movie that hinted us that possibilities. Now, before we get into the madness, let's make sure we understand some things that were not said in the movie, but is important for better understanding. The idol industry in Japan is set up that idols are seen to public as perfect living creatures. Idols sing, dance, and act. They also must have the persona of beautiful, attractive angel that is pure, and with that in mind, they must not be seen in public with boyfriend, must not have children, must not wear dirty clothes, and that to wear that persona of being an idol. Mima is an idol. In the movie, we find out that she works super hard to become one, and she was embracing being an angel that everyone will love. Of course, normal, intelligent person would know that idols are just human beings that work in the industry and must wear the pure mask. Unfortunately, there are some poor insecure souls that find comfort in consuming the idol content and truly believe that they are pure like angels. Now, from what I see on modern idols, with time idols seem to go downwards and getting more extreme in those personas. Now wearing a mask is normal nowadays, just like I wear a mask of someone who knows what he's talking about and trying to sound smart on YouTube. That is also something that I trained for. But that is also false and to some extent. This is part of me, but not entirely truth part of me. Many others, if not everyone, had their own mask to show for public. Mima's mask was being the idol, and she worked in the industry for 2.5 years. Of course, she's not an angel, but part of her will still remember that side of her. When she was forced to choose of being an actress or keep being an idol, she was also forced to choose what mask does she want to wear, because a part of acting is contradiction to being pure like we see later in the movie. As we know, she chooses the acting career and needed the idols inside of her to slowly die. She did that part with removing the posters and say goodbye to her. Now she's ready to fully commit into acting. With some disturbance and suspecting that she is being stalked all the time, Mima becomes quite paranoid, and as the work of being an actor becomes tougher and tougher, more people depend on her, more things are on stake, higher pressure, more harder work in her character that she is acting on, and over the time, idol persona kicks in slowly into her head. That new Mima inside of her is an idol. She is pure, and she wants that Mima stop acting because they both knew that it's not something that she truly wants. But Mima is still doing it because that will pay off in the future of being an actor. But idol Mima wants her to stop and be back at being pure. The hallucinations of the new idol Mima keep showing up. Mima is still doing her best at the work, and of course, the rape scene. With that scene, idol Mima can't forgive her anymore. She crossed the line with that, and idol Mima is in danger because of it. She can't stay pure. Mima is getting in her way of being an idol. She must do something. Director of the show is killed. No eyes, because those eyes have seen the idol do impure things for his show. Mima gets quite a blow on her mental health by those things that are happening in her life, and things are only getting worse and worse. The idol Mima hallucination also appears to Rumi, but in form of one of her personalities. We can guess that she had multiple personality disorder quite some time now, but everything was under control. But with Mima switching to acting, she found herself being really hurt. We know that Rumi worked in the idol industry for quite a time now, and that she is not fit to be idol, and with that we can assume that she wanted to be idol so bad, but couldn't be one, and that ended up traumatizing her to some way, and with the time she developed this multiple personality disorder of idol Mima. The idol Mima, of course, went nuts with the rape scene, and did the murder of the rector. Well, it was actually Rumi thinking that she was an idol Mima, but you get the point. And the third one, the bastard from hell himself, the stalker. Mania is one of the insecure, dumb, delusional people that I were talking about earlier. From the start we know how he sees Mima, and we know what he's ready to do for her. Get a part-time job to just look at her up close, getting kicked in the face for her, and of course to stalk her around because his life is possibly so miserable that Mima is the only point of life in his life, and is ready to risk his life for her. And oh well, she is now a sinful actress, and he takes that personally, calling her a traitor, setting bomb in the letter, and being disturbing as fuck. We find out that he worked with Rumi and was doing the stalking site Mima's room with Rumi, and oh well, he also was hallucinating the idol Mima. By the way, multiple people having the same hallucinations are possible, super rare and weird, but it happens. Just like in this case, Rumi and Mania wants that Mima to stop getting in her way of idol Mima that they love so much, and they're doing some horrific things to achieve that. The story goes on, Mima gets so bad that it's incredibly hard to figure out what is real and what is not. It messes with her head and ours too, since the movie is so well crafted that we also experience her mental illness watching those scenes. Some things are real, some things are not. Some are real but messed up with memories and make something up. It makes us question everything that film shows, just like Mima questions their reality and illusions. She is trying to capture idol Mima that keeps showing up to make her stop and possibly disappear from her life. They are kinda battling each other because they want one another to disappear. As Mima is getting worse and worse mentally, so is her room getting messier and messier through the time passing. Now let's see what's real and what is not. Mima was taking the nude photos while her ex-idol colleagues were being on the stage, where we see Mania recording and hallucinating the idol Mima singing there with them. Idol is there being famous while actress is stripping in front of the camera. When she was taking a break, the idol Mima showed up in front of her and was like, "You're doing things you hate and that are very sinful while I do something that I love and everyone loves me. You're just a dirty imposter," said the hallucination. Now, Mima agrees with her to some extent, which is pretty tragic. Idol Mima makes Stalker buy all the nude magazines of Mima so that anyone else can see her and damage her reputation. Mima starts to hallucinate Stalker here and there and slowly losing the sense of reality, like chasing the idol Mima and getting hit by a truck hoping to get isekai'd, but no. She wakes up in her bed. Illusions keep happening along with reality, and we as Mima also lose the sense of reality. Mima starts questioning everything, including if she is alive or dead. The photographer gets killed to what appears to be Mima, and making Mima thinking that she might be the killer. Now, as we said previously, not everything that happens in the movie is happening in chronological timeline. Rumi killed photographer while being in the idol persona, and after killing visits Mima and setting her up for murder by leaving clothes full of blood behind in her apartment. It was not the tea, it was the blood. When Mima hurt her hands, she was wearing different clothes and the visa delivery cap in the bag that she didn't had, but since it was saying on the internet site of Stalker, she believed that she got that bag since she can't remember and also struggles with recognizing the reality. Mima is slowly getting used to the new way of living and managing somehow until the end of the recording for the drama series that she acted on. Afterwards, Mima gets assaulted by Mania and tries to rape and kill her for being the false Mima and damaging the idol Mima, the real Mima inside of the head. That hallucination of idol Mima told him to kill the imposter, which luckily he failed. Mima kicked him with a hammer, and in meantime Rumi kills her colleague because he forced the decision to Mima to stop being an idol and forced her to take up those roles that she was set for her. Of course, Rumi figured out that Mania failed his task, finished them off, hid the two bodies before anyone found out, and on top of that told Mima she knew that was struggling with recognizing the reality and make her question did the assault really happen, or was it just an illusion. Now we get to the finale. We find out how fucked up Rumi is and her multiple personality disorder. Fake Mima's room and the idol Mima is trying to kill real Mima. Now the greatest chase scene in fiction that I hope everyone's seen it by now, and now is the question of the finale. Who won? Mima the idol or Mima the actress? True story, we can assume that part of Mima was regretting switching careers because there were things that she didn't want to do but was forced under one way or another to do it. This was her fight to kill the idol inside of her, or the idol will kill her. One surely did die, but which one? I bet that idol won, and here's why. When everything was revealed and Mima is in serious injuries by idol Mima trying to kill her, I know it was Rumi, but in Mima said she was battling them both. This was the fight until the death, and was Rumi got herself injured and about to get kicked in by the truck, thinking it was on stage. Mima saved her. She didn't save Rumi. She saved the idol part of herself. She was not ready for it to die. She doesn't really want to keep being a model or actress since she is so deeply traumatized by that. The happy days were when she was an idol. She was not ready to let her golden years die. She needed the idol Mima, now more than ever before. Way too many people died or got hurt because of it. She can't just go back to being an actress and saves her idol mask. We know that she was doing the rape scene because many people worked really hard to give her that privilege to act on such an important scenes. With idol Mima, people literally died for her to have privilege to get on stage and still be loved by her audience. Also, on the finale, she said that thanks to Rumi, she is who she is today. Rumi saved the idol Mima and acted like one. Without her, the idol Mima would only be the illusion. We also see that when Mima was leaving the hospital, the nurses started to whisper to each other, hinting us that Mima is quite the celebrity, a bigger celebrity than was in the beginning of the movie. She must become our great actor or great idol. Like I said earlier, why it's more likely that she chooses to be idol again, and the final scene in the car, no, I'm real. Which is also out of character for Mima, and that facial expression of her, which are saying that she is been through development. Also, you probably know The Perfect Blue is based on a light novel called Perfect Blue, Complete Metamorphosis. Now, is the metamorphosis of Mima becoming an actress? Because that is not complete. There was a bit of idol Mima inside of her, but now, idol Mima at the end of not being an actress, that now is a complete metamorphosis. And on top of that all, it's absolutely perfect way to finish the horror. The way it's much more terrifying. The story have much more meaning, and that makes us all think, could that really happen in real life? Very unlikely, but yes, it can. And now that is how you write the perfect horror. Damn, this movie is amazing. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, you know how to support me. Goodbye.